Hour. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. We are here. We're at the Bipoc Happy Hour. We are the Black Indigenous people of color. And this is our wind down where we've made it through the week. It's the Friday, time for our libations and time for us to chill. Now, I'm Uncle Ray. That's Brother Bobby. I got Sister Sonia and Chef Bobby here. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing this afternoon or evening?
I'm doing absolutely perfect.
It's a good Friday. I mean, a little gray, but still a good Friday.
I'm at a trunk or treat in Robbinsdale.
Oh, that is so cute.
You got a retreat?
Yeah, I got to take time out with the children.
Treat.
A trunk or treat.
You're right, trunk or
Where
treat.
they decorate their trunks and give out candy. And this was done by Twin Cities Hospital, Chiropractic Hospital, something like that. But it's cute.
You decorate your trunk and they give you candy for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds like fun. Only in Minnesota.
Is there quite a few people there?
They doing make sure everything is social distance. You know, they letting people come in slowly but surely.
Is it inside or outside?
It's outside. They're still monitoring how many people come in at a time, though.
Oh, okay.
But that COVID is real. Today, for the first time.
As you can see, I'm still masked up outside.
We can't see you. We can't see you yet. You're not on the screen.
Can you see me now?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, we can't see you.
Because I don't know.
We're having technical difficulty with our roving reporter. Just what was you gonna say?
The question today is National Coming Out Day. Well, they had a dinner for it today. Everybody had a coming out story. Do you remember when you came out?
Came out of what? Came out of what?
Oh my goodness.
Can anybody remember that far back?
Well, you know, there had a few good coming out stories today. The coming out lunching today, and I thought they were really cute. You know, because I mean, I thought about, did I come out? Did I get, you know, or what was the coming out point for me? How did I realize that I came out? And what was, you know, because I thought that came out when I was little, when I told my dad that we was watching TV and it was telling people in New York they couldn't be gay, or they was in the park and they're trying to get them at the park. And the police came. I said, why is the police bothering them when they ain't doing anything about it? They're just gay. You know, they ain't bothering nobody. And my dad said, boy, don't ever say that again. I didn't say I was gay. I didn't say, why are you bothering the gays?
So that was your coming out?
I don't know, because when I think back on me saying that, did I admit that I was gay to him?
I guess. I don't know. I don't see that you was asking a question. Would you have known what gay was really at that time?
I knew that they shouldn't be bothering people that wasn't doing anything, no matter what they were. I just thought that was unfair. And they had took out billy clubs and stuff. They were supposed to be hitting them and stuff like that. Get out the parks and calling them all kind of names. It was like, why would they do that? You know, I guess, I don't know if I came out to him or he got mad because I just trying to think gay people. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, that's difficult.
Yeah, so I mean, that's my first inception of like telling somebody that, you know, I could be gay, but I'm not saying that right now. I'm just saying they should be bothering gays.
How old were you during this time?
I was 14. And you know, we only had one TV back then, so everybody had to watch the same TV. The big TV in the basement, okay, with my dad. And he happened to be watching news at the time, you know, so you had to sit there half an hour with him, you know, looking at that stuff. And I just like, well, you know, I made a comment. I'm like, why are they bashing gay people in New York for?
Well,
and
that's
he
just
take
asking a question. That is just asking why they beating up on people. That's not so much as gay people. Why they beating up on people? Period. That's what you were saying. I don't see that as admitting that you were
so
gay.
why did he come at me that way and saying, "Don't you talk like that"? Why would you say that? I got 5 boys. You know, what do you mean? They should be in the park doing what they do, whatever. And I'm like, I'm not quite sure what they were doing. That's the part I didn't get because it was in the daytime, so they couldn't be doing nothing. Well, I don't know. Hindsight's be 2020 because I wasn't there, so I'm not quite sure. I know how gay guys are now. I don't know if they were there 30 years, 40 years ago, or what they were doing in the park. But it was in daytime, so why would you bother? What could you have done in the daytime? It could have been nothing rude. I don't know. But I don't know if I was coming out because
Well, what would be your second time where you actually told somebody, I'm gay?
that was my
That would be the coming out.
now that would be my
I'm
better
admitting.
story. That would be my better story because when I was in college, and I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. I had a friend from Bangladesh. I mean, this guy was like the sweetest person in the whole world at that time to me. I'm like, he could do nothing wrong. I mean, everything about him was just right, no matter what. So when I met him, I'm like, he couldn't be gay because he, well, he couldn't go back to Bangladesh and say he was gay because he would have to get stoned to death. That's their punishment in India for being gay. But I fell in love with the boy before I mean, I didn't care where he was from. And I told everybody that, even my girlfriend at the time,
Okay, so that was your coming out.
I, yeah, because I
It
was
would
in
have to be if
college.
you told your girlfriend, I like him. Wouldn't that be it? If you told her you like him?
I, I guess it wasn't like, yeah, I guess so. Looking back, it's gonna be, put up that way. But in hindsight, it wasn't like that. It was more like we made a connection, and it's like, wow, this would be the perfect person for me.
And you knew it. Well, that would be what would that'd be when as Oprah said, aha moment. Yeah. Aha. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Since it's National Coming Out Lunching Day, I was wondering, like, who got a coming out story? Hey, Roxanne.
Hey y'all.
Hey, Rox, do you have a coming out life story?
Sure. Oh, there's a fee. There's a speaker's fee for that. Sorry.
Hey, did you test for COVID?
Who are you talking to?
I have
Roxanne.
tested. Yeah, I have tested for COVID.
Oh, okay. So you on vaccination over not vaccination?
I am vaccinated, and I went. The last test I had was 3 Tuesdays ago, I think. 2 Tuesdays ago, something like that.
So now you can tell your story.
Of my COVID story?
No, your coming out story.
Okay.
I could.
We'll get you paid for that.
But
We'll
Rox
get you
said
paid.
that's a fee for that.
We got your fee now for your coming out story.
Yes.
So we'll send you a fee for your coming out story.
Okay. I'll let you know when I get that arrive and be happy to share.
Because those are big things to tell your coming out story and have to think about that and all of that. Because those are traumatic times.
But I mean, if you had a, like, I mean, 50 years, you only been like sexual since you was like, what, 15, 16?
Nobody's got to answer that question. Plead the fifth.
Right.
Plead the fifth.
So from 16 from to now, you think about like, how many times have I came out to different people? Because when I was in college, my dad and them didn't know at first. It was just
True.
people at college knew.
Okay.
So
So
the
the coming
progress-
out,
And also, when we were in college, it wasn't a big it wasn't big like national coming out days and shit that I know of. I mean, maybe there
No.
was, and I was just not out enough that I did not know.
so
but
it's
I don't-
really coming out. Is that the part where you tell your parents you're out, or just your friends?
Well, experts say that there are many steps to coming out. And
Okay.
first, we tell our most closest trusted people.
Right.
Then we generally tell our siblings. And
Okay.
then generally our cousins, and them, then our parents, then our
Parents of the-
workplace, and other social groups.
Okay, those are all steps to coming out. Okay.
I mean, that's generally, some people do different things depending on how they got relationships with people. But
Right.
generally, you got to come out to yourself first. And then you come out to other gay people to be like, am I gay? And then you come out to your like besties who aren't gay, and then your siblings and other extended family members.
So it's okay, everybody. If you want to come out, that's how you do.
Come on.
You know what I
but
mean?
that's not how it really, well, it was different.
Well,
Yeah.
everybody has. That's what Ross said.
Kind of
Everything was
followed that.
different. Yeah.
You kind of followed that. I mean, you might have mentioned it earlier in your younger days, right? Sometimes we mention things and they get redirected. Like I remember mentioning to my mom when I was like 8 that I was not a lady. Very defiantly when she told me that, I shouldn't have my legs open because it wasn't very ladylike, and that was probably a coming out, but I didn't really know what that meant. I just
Right.
knew that I wasn't the typical girl, and I did not meet the characteristics that other girls had. And then I think when I was in my 20s, I came out to some degree. I think I probably came out as bi first because I was interested in exploring, sexuality. But I don't think I came out as like gay or, like anything other than heterosexual or heteroflexible, as they say today.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I don't think I came out like that until I was like in my late 20s.
So would the coming out story be because I was in high school in 10th grade, had a friend that was in 10th grade that told me, because we had a group of friends that all hung out together. It was 5 of us boys. I ain't gonna give no names because I don't know.
No need.
No names, but we all hung out every day. I mean, literally. We walk home together every day. My house was further, so we drop you drop off on the way home. One of my friends told me that one friend one day tried to give him a blowjob. And I'm like, what? He came to me and tried to give me a blowjob. I ain't that way. We need to talk to him. To stop him.
You called him and told him you got home, didn't you?
Right. I need to talk to him real fast.
No, but he was saying we need to talk to him. Because he said, no, he was really serious. He says, we are friends. I don't like it like that, blah, 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 blah. So when I heard that, I was like, wow.
Let me try.
Right, that's what I'm like. He was saying,
Right.
But he didn't know.
Y'all, you so up.
Wait, so when he told me this, I'm like,
don't do that no more. I got you.
huh?
I'm just playing nothing. I'm just talking shit. Go ahead.
I told her that's fucked up that he did that to you if you're not that way, So I'm thinking next day I'm walking home, making sure I'm the last one on to get to the destination. He does the same thing the next day. Now I don't know if I was gay or not, but we did do some things in the garage. And I don't
Right.
know. My first was telling him that we can do this and started something that we was doing a lot of more times after that. So I'm not quite sure if that was the first time.
Was that the first time you explored the sexuality with the
Look,
guy?
after we did it with our eyes closed, every day we would talk about it. Are we gay? We're not gay. We just friends. We just buds. That was the whole conversation that we started to have. Like, what did we just do? What just happened? Why are we gonna do this? And it kept happening, and nobody wanted to face the fact of this was gay.
It wasn't gay. It was just guys playing around. Y'all was experimenting.
Oh, okay.
I want to ask a question. This is the Sana and Ross. Do women experiment that early in life like boys? Do boys start early? They mess around. It's not, they just do that. But do girls do that too? Y'all start playing early, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I've always wanted to ask that because boys are different, and I've never been in that lifestyle. But I wanted to know because I know some boys start early. They'll play swords and all of that and compare.
But playing swords is not gay.
It depends on who you ask.
Straight men do that.
What your sword is?
Huh?
Say what?
What your sword is?
We know what the sword is, Simon. We all know what the sword is. That's what little boys start doing early in life. They play swords.
But they even still do it. They used to do that in college.
Right. They play swords, but that's not supposed to be gay.
That's not gay. Literally, in fraternity stuff like that, they play swords all the time.
Yeah, the guys will play swords. But yeah, that's why I asked you.
What is that thing about hitting boys in the nuts and grabbing, that's been a thing since we were little.
Straight men play this game too?
Yes.
Swords, yes. Hitting people doing all that, I don't know, but swords, yes. Anything can happen and you can play swords.
They hit you in the butt in football, basketball, all the sports. They've been doing
That's not gay. That's not gay. That's just friendly pep talk.
I mean, it's homoerotic. It's still homoerotic.
Tell me about it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to visualize what this is.
No, that's what I wanted to add. The girls go through the same thing as we do because yes, guys do that early, and they'll do it anytime.
Not like that.
Oh yeah, guys will play swords because even as little kids, boys will go and measure between the two. I got hair, all that kind of stuff. That's how it starts. It starts, comparing and looking at each other, and then it eventually touching, and that's the swords. That's how little boys do.
I did not know this. My son didn't talk to me this. Okay.
Your son will never tell you that. Boys will never tell their females that. That's just growing up boys.
But that's the whole thing that parents didn't understand back in the day, because they always said little boys sleep in the same bed. You sleep with this end. You sleep with this end. That was the you shake your head. That was so you go, y'all can play with each other's penises.
Oh, okay.
I think that girls get very different messages about their bodies and how they can express their sexuality, how they can even touch them. I think it's very different. We're told from very early on to cross our legs and to make our sexuality not accessible for ourselves and for other people. And I don't think boys get that same messaging. No. And then I also think that, there's homoeroticism that can happen between straight men, and they don't view that as homo.
Right.
Until you say I'm gay, and then you can watch the same thing and it's gay, right?
Yes.
So I think that I think the stigma and the messaging around sexuality and how we explore that is really different between, you know, male assigned people and female assigned people.
That's why everybody's so mixed up now, having problems trying to understand sexuality because of that messaging that we received when we were kids and all that. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do
If
this.
you say
it's
no
doing.
homo before you do something, then you ain't gay.
This is not Boondocks.
I ain't heard
Oh.
that in forever. Goodness.
Right,
how
this
that
ain't
works?
Boondocks.
No homo, you good.
Oh God.
So if you say no homo, but you know, give head to somebody to the point where they express themselves in your mouth, that's not gay.
No, you can't swallow, just spit. You're okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
if
you gotta spit.
if you spit, you're not gay, but if you swallow, that's
You're
gay.
gay. Yeah, it's gay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so much to this. It's not just cut and dry.
no, it's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, the girls and sisters know they'll swallow the babies.
Yeah. Some people
Yes.
kill the kids.
Yes. And Russ don't spit them out. No,
So
they
that's
don't.
what James, but that's the part of coming out. That's all the kind of stuff, you know, you gotta put into the memory books of what happened through your life and all that kind of stuff. Because it's all different, but you can't let it mentally affect you in a negative way. It's just stuff that happened.
Right. And I think coming out is the process of identifying as LGBTQ, because we all know people that do same-sex sexual behavior. We can put all kind of labels, DL, whatever you want on it. And those people are never going to identify as gay, so they're never going to have a real like coming out process. So I don't think it's about behavior. Yeah, I think it's about how you feel and what you're choosing to share about your identity.
And then two, I'll have to bring it back to another conversation we had. That's a part of learning who self is. I'll have to go back to that dating oneself. You have to know who you are to be comfortable at your levels that you're at. You know, you have to be comfortable to admit and say, I'm gay. You have to be comfortable to say, I'm trans. You have to be comfortable with yourself to say, I'm alien. Whatever the case may be, that's a part of learning self and being comfortable with self.
Right. And to some degree, how safe you are to do that. You know, I mean, there might be people that live in a place where it's very homophobic and it's not safe for them to be out, but they are very in touch with who they are sexually, but they just choose not to share that with their neighbors because it would make them unsafe.
Yes, agreed. See? And I'm so glad that hopefully some of that stuff is relaxing. I know there's still a lot of places out there that have homophobia, but it's not going away. It was here before all this Americanism started, and it's going to be here after America's gone. Even the animals have homosexual relationships.
Where was the luncheon, Dennis?
Oh, it was at the Twin Stadium.
Is the Twin
Nice.
Stadium place nice?
What did they serve? Hot dogs?
We went to the Twins game. You think the Twins stadium is nice? Room for that game that time? Me, you,
I remember
Bobby.
the game, but I wouldn't know how the box offices or the conference centers are.
No, they got a big open area upstairs from the ball game. Kind of same kind of setup as you can see outside. You can see like they got a big glass where you can see the field and
Box
people
office.
sitting there.
Just like a box office.
Okay, but I mean, it's an open space with baseballs and memorabilia. That's all that was, and it was. I thought it was really nice. You know, you could tell the Twins got some money.
Because of the memorabilia or because of the layout and the setup of the room?
That building is excellently nice. It is well maintained. Even the bathrooms, I mean, are immaculate to be a.
They didn't pay for it.
Huh?
They didn't pay for it.
Oh,
Right. Minneapolis, city
Shout
of
out to the
Minneapolis bought that.
taxpayers.
I mean, you paid for
in
that.
Minneapolis, okay?
Right. That's what I
It's
said. City of Minneapolis,
beautiful.
all of us
Yes,
drank for it.
you have beautiful taste and how you spent your tax dollars then.
Mm-hmm.
Because we paid for that.
Even the bathrooms in there, no touch water, everything, just beautiful.
Is that
Everything-
how you really tell if a building or a space is really nice if the bathroom looks good?
Yes.
You can tell you in the upper class if the bathroom is looking nice.
I mean, this bathroom was so nice. They had 2 people attending it.
Oh, so I could have got all my colognes and mints and all that.
No, not colognes and mints. I'm talking about if you were in there, they flush the toilet for you.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. You need anything? They almost touched the tabletop and wiped you.
Oh no! Is it that good?
It's too close. It's still close.
Well, you want to be pampered, Sina.
Not like that from no stranger.
Well, sometimes a stranger can be exciting.
Yes, that was an excellent. I'm like, but we only had chicken.
Y'all had chicken.
Chicken.
Y'all had Upsilon. You got all them designer bathrooms, and y'all had chicken.
And mashed potatoes.
And it was some chicken with some mashed potatoes and
Mashed potatoes.
Asparagus or something, right?
No asparagus. They had some kind of crinkly vegetables mixture.
A mixed vegetable. Sound.
You have to get a salad before, yeah.
Yes.
Bread.
You always have to have the salad because you need that roughage.
Yeah.
And those biscuits were good.
Were they cheese biscuits?
They'd be on point.
No, that wasn't Red Lobster.
Oh, okay.
They had an assortment of rolls that you can choose from.
Assortments of what?
Of rolls that you can choose from.
Rolls? Okay.
Yes. Now, I was upset because we didn't get no dessert.
After all of that, y'all didn't get no dessert. You didn't get a piece of cake or pie?
I went and had some good food today. I went back to the breakfast bar.
No, you
Right.
didn't.
Yes, tell us about it because
The
I didn't
breakfast
get to go.
bar
They're
is
gonna
nice.
open their patio. Did they say it's closed forever?
I don't know. The city is.
It's about the city.
Oh, so they can't have people out there at all still. Like now they can't have people. Oh, I thought they still could have people out there.
But the food is slamming.
Yes. And the ambiance in the place is slamming. It's really nice.
And the
Just sit in there and
servers
chill
are
with
bomb. The server we had was bomb. She was beautiful.
Hmm.
Is there a private?
No, it's not private rooms and all that. And it's still, it's long
Like
because
they
that's how
don't
they are.
have one that like I pay. I want to eat there.
You can eat there. Ain't nobody sitting up on top of each other. And they do have spaces that extend that. So, like I said, you don't have to sit on top of each other and all that. Because I had reserved a table for 6 people, and I had plenty of room to stretch out when nobody showed up and all that kind of stuff. But yes, it's comfortable, and you don't mind sitting in there having a conversation, and the business is steady. It never
I
got
had that Cajun shrimp today. Cajun shrimp and cheesy grits.
That shit is the bomb.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It was so good.
Man,
See?
I'm going back too for that shrimp, the jerk shrimp. They were seasoned perfect.
See, I won't go to Denny's anymore. I'll have to go there.
Denny's, who is that?
Like I said, I won't go to Denny's anymore. I'm going to the breakfast bar on First Street in downtown Minneapolis.
Black owned.
Yes.
Yes.
The only black owned restaurant in downtown Minneapolis, from what we hear. Or is that not true?
And they got people color servers.
Other one was, yeah.
Everybody in there was of color.
Beautiful.
And they didn't take forever with your food.
Oh,
your
I came in late.
And your food came in perfect looking.
I came in late. Y'all had just got y'all place, and 5 seconds later, I got mine. Even though I came in late. Y'all had already ordered. Loved it.
Yeah. So we giving shout out to the breakfast bar in downtown Minneapolis because thank you for the good service and the good conversation and good food. We have to do that.
Again.
Gotta get it.
And the music background was good.
Mm.
And for y'all weirdos, they got turkey bacon.
Yeah, we got into it about turkey. She said,
I
it's
asked
like
the question
turkey
before
bacon.
you did.
Oh,
I did. Who eat turkey bacon? I did. That's the first thing I said. Who the hell eat turkey bacon?
I don't know.
Just Santa, do you eat turkey
Everybody's
bacon?
trying to watch their cholesterol and fat.
The pig will still be number one in bacon land.
I don't eat bacon that often. So, but when I eat it, it's pork.
See? I don't do it that often, but when I do.
Do you wash your bacon?
We watch it cook.
Oh, no, I said wash it off or rinse it off.
For what? It's already clean. It's packaged and ready to go.
Some people tell me you got to wash the salt off.
You can never wash the salt off bacon. Bacon is pure salt.
Put water in it because when you put it in the skillet, you don't want it to be with water because the grease and it's gonna be popping.
And on top of that, like I said, you can't get rid of salt out of bacon because it's all salt.
It's pork. Pork is salty. High sodium.
Yeah. Ain't nothing in that pig that ain't full of salt. That's why you can't even eat that much ham. That ham will kill you with all that salt.
I'm gonna show you. Let me see, can I find it?
Is it a picture of a ham? I mean, not to say I won't eat a ham, but I'm just saying it's just salty.
I mean, pigs don't come salty. I thought that they were salted to cure them.
No, pigs are always salty.
I want you to look at this story. See
education communities. However, recently, the award-winning education and music innovator was almost stopped in his tracks by a stone-cold giant killer, the Delta variant of COVID-19.
David Ellis, founder of High School for Recording Arts, who also goes by the name TC, is known for his tenacious energy, feisty spirit, staying power, and strength. Ellis, a former Prince protege, who was the first hip-hop artist to record under Prince's music label, has for the last 30 years taken his celebrity status and love of the music business and parlayed it into successfully educating 350 students each year at High School for Recording Arts, located in St. Paul.
I was kind of feeding into the hype a little bit, and I didn't get my vaccine. I'm on my way. I'm going to take my son out of town to visit with his mother, and I felt kind of chills on the plane, and I was like, whoa. I asked him, I said, are you guys chilly? They were like, no, they had on short sleeve shirts and they were just chatting and talking, and I couldn't get comfortable in my seat. I started feeling this fatigue, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't think COVID at the time. And so when I got where we were going, I dropped him off, and I took some NyQuil and went to bed. And I woke up the next day and bam, I was just floored.
Ellis then went and got tested for COVID-19 and waited for the results.
I just felt terrible. And I kind of, at that point, I was like, I think I got it, because my back was hurting, all my muscles were sore. I had a headache. I couldn't get comfortable, and I was just kind of feeling real bad. The doctor, he told me, he said, just move forward as if you have it.
But recently, even Ellis's usual strength wasn't a match for the power of the Delta variant, because when Ellis became infected with the virus, he hadn't received the COVID-19 vaccine.
And then eventually the test came back and said I had the Delta variant. And so I was like, whoa.
In addition to becoming infected with the Delta variant, the popular school leader had a double whammy. His older brother by 14 years also came down with COVID-19, most likely becoming infected at the same event, But unlike David, his older brother was vaccinated.
He had the vaccine. I didn't. His lasted like 3 days. Mine's lasted over 3 weeks. After that third week, I was like so devastated that I was just like, what the heck, you know? I fooled around. I didn't get my vaccine. And then I was in contact with my older brother. He was checking on me every day. And he's 14 years older than me. And he was like all the way better. And I was like, man, I should have got my vaccine, you know, because I had other friends who were, you know, doctors and people who were telling me you should get it, you know, it ain't what it was in history, you know, where, you know, they're trying to feed us something. He's saying this is something that will protect you or help to protect you.
We asked Ellis why he hadn't got the COVID-19 vaccine before becoming infected with the life-threatening virus.
Being that I've never participated in getting a flu shot or any other vaccines. And so I just guess I had this type of denial or something about what COVID was or how it could, you know, devastate me, because I've never been that sick. I didn't take it as serious as I should have, and I got my butt kicked. I just didn't realize. And then you got, you know, the historical factors, you got all this conspiracy theory stuff, you got all these things. And, you know, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm just an ordinary black man trying to make it.
Now the school leader, who in part got his start from Prince, has some royal advice of his own.
All I can tell you is get that shot.
And when asked what he would say to African Americans and others still hesitant to get the COVID-19 shot because of historical reasons,
get that vaccine, because from my experience and what I understand, it helps. My brother had it and his lasted 1/10 of the time mine did. I say, from where I'm sitting now, get the vaccine. You know, I had to learn the hard way, you know, and you know, it made me really think about where I was at in life and that, hey, you could pass.
Todd Barnes reporting.
You know, I think that's kind of interesting because we need more people to have stories like that, because, like I said, I had a scare in my house and I was protected. I'm glad that I was vaccinated because it didn't last maybe 2 days in my house and then it was gone. I've tested and since then and nothing. I'm glad that I was vaccinated.
Do you think his story is compelling, touching, what, you know?
I think his story is real. Because for a lot of people that have that anxiety, until they see it in action, they don't really believe it. I've had one friend that say, well, I ain't been sick yet and I ain't gonna get sick. I'm like, well, you don't know that because you don't know where you might walk into and it could be there. But do you know if you would survive it? That's the whole thing.
Well, I don't know, but his story sounds very similar. You know, last year at the end of January, I took an international flight. And when I got home at the beginning of February, I was so sick. And the same thing happened to me on the plane. I started getting chills. I started getting chest pain. And when I got off the plane, I couldn't even make it to the baggage claim. I had to sit down and collect myself and get a ride to the baggage claim. And then I was in bed for 4 days. I couldn't really move. I couldn't really breathe. I literally got up, drank some water, pee, and go back to sleep. And although I never had a rule out test whether to see or not if I had COVID, because that was in February and we didn't go on lockdown until the middle of March. I would I would say that I had a very similar experience where it just hit me out of nowhere. I got chills. I started feeling like shit, and then I just couldn't move for a few days.
Very compelling piece.
Well, he's semi-famous, so I don't know. You know, they have this argument now with Queen Abdul-Jabbar about why he feels that celebrity status you should be out there telling everybody about get the vaccination. Is it celebrities have an obligation to tell people to get vaccinated?
I think as anybody who has the opportunity to answer the question or be able to speak, whether you're a celebrity or not, I mean, you can also be an advocate.
But I don't think it's an obligation.
Right.
But like, yeah, they can, say something. They are influencers.
Right. Because if you get an opportunity, if somebody sticks a mic in your mouth, you should be able to advocate at that moment, especially in something like this. And I'm glad he brought up, I mean, there's one thing in the Black community that they always bring up the Tuskegee, the Tuskegee program with the syphilis. That did happen back then, but a lot of things have changed. And, we can never get that back, but, things are changing to where we can all be healthy and move forward. What do you personally think?
People are empowered to say something, right? A lot more people are watching. A lot more people are paying attention. A lot more people are leery,
Mm-hmm. But like you said, one thing you just said, a lot more people are paying attention and saying things. That makes all the difference in the world. Back in the Tuskegee times, we didn't know anything. And we definitely wasn't able to say anything and be heard. And we didn't have people in those places. But now we have people in those places.
So do you feel that if we're not Democrats, we're not relevant?
I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent.
Oh.
I don't follow any lead to those parties. I'm independent, free thinker, because some things on the Republican I like, some things on the Democratic I like. I don't like all of what each party says.
Okay.
What were you saying, Simon?
I was saying, like, what they got to do with anything.
I love you.
I'm curious. We didn't talk about Dave Chappelle's show, his stand-up. Did folks watch it?
Where he's making the trans comments. Is that what's supposed to be said?
Poser. Yeah.
So did you watch it, Ray?
I haven't seen this particular one, but I've heard David say things. I haven't seen the clips, but
You watched it, Simon?
I did. The man
How did you
is
feel about it?
a great storyteller.
What did you think?
Been a great storyteller. Mm-hmm. I think that there are going to be a lot of people who's like it's going to go over their head. His message.
So what part is homophobic? Because I watched it too, and I didn't see it because I'm gay as all hell.
It's supposed to be transphobic. It's not homophobic. It's transphobic.
I didn't see it. He was a comedian. He may have said something in previous specials, but I think he shared a really heartwarming story about a friendship that he had with a trans woman. Also, I mean, he centered, Black life. And he, really, I think, shined a light on that lack of care that, people in this country have for Black life. One. And then the shit he said about Caitlyn Jenner, I'm sorry, I thought that was true. I'm sure.
Is that where the trans accusations probably came from? Is about Caitlyn Jenner?
Because he said Caitlyn Jenner shouldn't have won, Businesswoman of the Year 1 year after coming out, as trans. When all these women who have been doing this work, excuse me, I shouldn't say like that. All the what is it? Biologically born? I don't know.
Cis is the word.
Okay, that's the word. Cis women. who have been doing this work all these years or whatever in business or whatever didn't get the opportunity to win that award that year, it did create some animosity against folks.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, it was. I thought that that was a valid point.
And that you would recognize a trans woman over a black female as doing quality work. That's really kind of like a slap in the face.
Yeah, but it's like you had. I mean, you've only been out as a woman for like a year. You haven't even put in the work.
Right. You haven't. And
I
again, I'm
shouldn't
going to
say
just
that.
all the
Maybe
women,
not.
all the
I don't know. I
women.
guess I shouldn't say that. Maybe not. But I'm just saying. I just was like, wow, that made sense to me.
Well, I
Sorry.
mean, again,
Not sorry.
we have all these talented women on the planet that born that way and have made marks in this world and are doing great things. I'm not downing trans at all, but again, there's so many people to choose from. One, I see more color than I do see anything else that she got that.
What do you mean by that?
I see color more than I see on how she got that. One, she's a white individual, and two, now you want to be trans, so you know they'll put you before again. The worst of the white folks is always better than any black person. So I don't. I mean, I'm offended by that. Why would all these women out here that you would choose her? What has she done? And still, I don't see what she's done other than have a surgery over that year.
Or that she isn't the only trans businesswoman that's a part of that association.
No,
Who have probably been in there, like I said, putting in work for years. You know,
right. This was something real for them.
being a woman. I'm just saying.
But I don't. I
What?
think the Netflix special with Dave Chappelle, Closure. I think it was like any other thing that people can say. You know, I think the story at the end, what you're talking about, the heartwarming story about his friend who passed away, she had a trust fund for her daughter. I think that was genuine. Or at least it sounded genuine. And I think the other things he said about, how, because again, I think comparing the baby, maybe we'll get mad, to being gay or whatever. They try to do it, slide it like that. But he was saying, listen, y'all counsel the baby because he don't like homosexuals or he said something bad. But he killed somebody. He killed a man in Walmart. Nobody counseled him then. How can we kill somebody and think that's okay, but he said something wrong? Now we don't want to talk to him anymore. We should have him kind of for both. You know what I mean? And stop allowing people to get away with shit. You
I
know,
didn't know he killed anybody.
because we don't care about that. He said something against gays. Now everybody in the whole world cancels him. Now everybody want to talk about that. That's cuckoo. That's all Dave should be able to say. Like, this is over your
That
head, huh?
so they were saying that the incident with the baby was self defense. But I think his point was, there was not outrage.
Right.
There is an outrage in our communities when black people are getting killed. But one thing that he did say, which I mean is, I think, more true of the earlier, I would say, BLM type groups back in maybe 2015, 2014, because they're getting a little better organized now. But his response about how the gay community, okay, rallied together, and what did they do? They hit the boy in his pockets. The fact that they mobilize, and the fact that we don't mobilize like that, in that way all the time, I think was what, was part of the point too. It's not fair. Why aren't we out there doing the same thing, I guess for black lives?
I think the thing that pissed off folks like HRC and other, activist groups is that, Dave has said lots of really homophobic and transphobic things. And when you start talking about people's gender and gender identity and using that as joke material, then it it is erasure. And I think the fact that Dave isn't, or people aren't actually acknowledging, and this is, I think, part of the critique, is that those people that are on the front lines of the Black Lives Movement, those are gay and trans people. They're gay and trans folks leading every social justice movement out there, abortion and otherwise. And so I think that the outrage is about like you could have directed your comedy in a different way. Like, yeah, you could have pointed out Caitlyn Jenner, but you could have also uplifted Andrea. You could have uplifted somebody in the Black trans community. You could have uplifted Aluchi. You could have uplifted Candace.
Are they
There's
friends?
well,
Because I think
no,
that was
but
the difference. This, the person he uplifted was a friend.
right. I don't think the outrage was about the uplifting part. I think the outrage was about, his statement about everybody who's born comes through their mother's legs, which actually isn't true. There's lots of people born with C-section. So I think that pissed off a lot of people. And I think also it pissed off a lot of people that his remarks about, trans folks it wasn't that he was talking about his friend. It was that the way that he's described trans people in the past hasn't been with good light. And I don't think that that's necessarily Dave's responsibility either, right? I think I agree with you, Sina. I think just because you reach some, status that, we give you in media doesn't mean that you have a responsibility to then be the spokesperson for everything. But I think the critique is like, if you are Black and you do have a voice, instead of slamming folks that are making a difference for our community, which are Black trans folks, how about if we do something different? But I still think he's a funny ass motherfucker.
And we'll watch him anytime.
Definitely is.
I just haven't seen closure yet. I saw his last special. I just haven't seen closure.
That's pretty good. I encourage folks to watch it for themselves.
Mm-hmm. But I have to go with Roxanne. I think more of the critique was about his previous than it is about closure. If you didn't see any or hear anything in closure, it had to be about his previous works.
I mean,
yeah, and I think it's about
like he's a comedian.
Right. Right. And that's what I'm saying. I think, as a
I
comedian, people make fun of people.
I grew up with Richard Pryor, you know what I'm saying? Paul Mooney. Those are the folks my parents listened to. And they talk shit about everybody.
If you move, they talk about you.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the shit was funny. I don't know. I feel so bad for comedians now. Like, I just feel so bad for them.
I do too, Sina. And I think, as a comedian, you get, we give this platform, right? We've created this platform for comedians to make fun of people who are different, right? And I think that that's part of how we have clapped about comedy. And I will have to say, the last time I went to a comedy show, my son took me for maybe Mother's Day or my birthday or something. And one of the comedians started clowning on gay people. And it was super uncomfortable for me. And it was super uncomfortable for my son. Like I felt more uncomfortable for how my son was feeling than how I was feeling, because he loves me and he knows I'm gay. And here's somebody that we pay $50 each to go inside and he's making fun of me. Right. And so I think that's more of the thing. It's like, as Black people, if we actually look at our pushes in social justice, who was behind Martin Luther King? A Black gay man. We now celebrate
his right hand man.
Right?
Right hand man.
Right. And at the time he couldn't even say, we couldn't even talk about him because he was gay and because we were ashamed of that. And so I think that what I'm feeling and what I'm hearing people say is like, now is not the time for us as Black folks to be beaten down on any other Black people. whether they gay, whether they disabled, whether they, without housing, whatever it is. Like, now is not the time for us to be calling out our own. That's what I took away. But, people have the right to feel whatever the fuck they want to feel.
Right. And Dennis, how did you feel?
About what?
The cow flying over the moon.
Right. Jack Horner in the corner with a thumb up his ass.
Yeah, all of that. How'd you feel?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I haven't seen it, so I can't chime in.
Listen.
I mean, I don't know. Y'all don't think the white people be uncomfortable when they be sitting up there talking about them all the time? They be laughing too. I mean, I don't know. I feel like in that space, and I know like we are in this time of, you don't laugh at people. But I'm sorry, some shit just be funny.
It does.
Shit just be funny. And I guess I'm going to hell because there's some shit that I probably laugh at that I probably shouldn't laugh at.
But you know what you're there for. You're supposed to laugh at that.
But you know what? I think no matter what people may say about Dave Chappelle, even though he may not understand completely, maybe he said some things in the past that are wrong or not the right way, but he does try to research his information so he understands what he's saying. Because he's really classy how he says certain things. I'm gay as all hell. I don't care what nobody say. And I watched it 3 or 4 times just to find out. I'm gay and I do gay things, run a gay organization, but sometimes I'm still like that, ignorant. Don't know, still gotta ask questions, still, because I see some things myself, I don't even understand, you know what I mean? So it's like, today, I went to the coming out breakfast. The same question we was asking 20 years ago, they still saying today. When people don't color get on board? When can we help y'all out? That same sort of, what do you call it? Robo-mess, robo-phone calls, your warranty, you calling for your warranty again,
over and over the same
over and over again, the same old thing. So when I see something with Dave Chappelle, where he actually researched it, thought it through, and then brought it to you, if you're offended, then that's your fault.
Well, it's still comedy. And that's the bottom line. I view it as all comedy.
No. Because, listen, art.
It's just comedy. He was that talent.
Right. That's art. That's what he does. He makes us smile and laugh. When we leave,
art.
Most of the time, it's not, they're just trying to get laughs. They're not trying to,
it's
not
art.
Vindictive. It's an art. It's not trying to be vindictive. It's making you laugh.
But it's not just comedy, because a lot of the stuff is real life. It comes into play that we want to think that things or want to say that, but we don't. And that's the only thing he does is makes us think about what I really want to say and what I really feel about that subject. Because listen, I say something the same thing. This LMNOP, this, that, the other. I got into it asexuals. Me, get into it asexuals. What the fuck? How does that? I'm gay as all outdoors. Now these asexuals are going to be saying, we don't like sex, we don't want sex, we don't think about it. Liar.
We're not going to get into that conversation. It's 7 o'clock. We're not going to go into that.
I'm just saying in general.
Identify that way. I said there are folks that identify that way.
Right.
I know. I'm just being
that's
facetious.
That's a segue to lead us up for our next conversation here on the Bipoc Happy Hour. It is 7. It's time. This is Friday. Everybody's doing their libations. I want everybody to have a safe weekend and all. We're here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here from 6 to 7 for your enjoyment and libations and things like that. So please stay tuned. Tune in to us next week, and we'll be coming back with some good information and good conversation again next week. Peace out, everybody.